Right, it's the 2nd of August 2007, it's just coming up to about 3:20. My wife had to go emergency clinic. When she came home on the 31st, when I did the last update, she took off her patch to go in the shower and she looked at her eye, and then she saw what you will see at the end of this clip, as I took a picture and filmed just a close-up of her eye. So if anyone is squeamish, then after I say, you know, that's it, then you'll know that it's coming at the end of this. So stop beforehand. It's not that bad, it's only a close-up of an eye. Anyway, when she looked, she noticed it was all red underneath, inside the eye, underneath the lens, it was all red. And yeah, we obviously got worried, and you know, that out of all the things that we've panicked about, that's probably the biggest one, because it looked all bloodshot, it looked like a blood vessel had burst. That's what I thought, maybe as the pressure. So we phoned, that was 3 days ago, I think it was Tuesday, because now it's Thursday. So we phoned Tuesday, and then they had to get her notes, had to speak with the doctors, and then found out that they'd actually drawn it on her record while she was there. They'd seen it, but they hadn't explained it to her. Now, I can only assume that, and I don't know, I can only assume they thought that she had already seen it, and thus they didn't need to mention it. Although I would be worried, you know, as their doctors, they know that eyes are critical, and every hour that you leave something, you know, especially when it's pressure concerned and other things, you can lose your sight. So from their point of view, if they did think that she'd been neglectful and that she had this, but she hadn't phoned and panicked and asked them, you know, and made an emergency appointment, then they should have pointed out to her, you know, you've got this, and you know, you really, you know, if you see anything change in your eye, you need to tell us straight away, which is part of their policy, I believe. That's common sense, that they should make people aware that whenever they see something, they need to chase it up. So they didn't do that, but they know from her records and from how she is, that whenever we've seen anything, we've gone in, we phoned them straight away, like we did at this time when we saw it. We phoned them straight away and asked them, what's this, you know, and should we come in? And so they told us that it was a conjunctival hemorrhage. Conjunctivitis she has anyway. I think that's something to do with like allergies and things like that. It's also, I think, a part of the eye. Maybe it's a part of the eye that's affected by allergies, I'm not sure. And the hemorrhaging is obviously just bleed. I mean, it's bleeding. I think it hemorrhaged as opposed to continuous bleeding, hemorrhaging. I'm not sure exactly, but anyway, it looked very red. It looks less now, but then we phoned, they said if it carries on hurting, then phone the next day. So they obviously were aware of it. And then the next day we phoned, and it's still hurting, so she's gone in today. And the report back is that it's not good. Now she's got two problems. Not only has she got the pressure, which has gone up to 31, because they reduced the Vexil because of the closing of the channel. So she's got the pressure side. She's also got her eyes very swollen, inflamed, I think was the word they used, inflamed. So they've increased her Vexil up to 1 hour. Again, that's a low steroid. Remember, she can't take dexamethasone because that gives her the pressure. Problem is with not giving a strong steroid is the channel, which is what they made to control the pressure, is closing. So they've taught her some exercises. I think she has to like move her around here, her eye, or maybe press around here to try and release the pressure. She's got to do that 4 times a day, which is what they've just done now to her. And I assume the conjunctivitis hemorrhage, she has to just, I think that just goes eventually on its own. But it's obviously painful and sensitive. And originally, on Tuesday, her next appointment would have been 3 weeks, which is, well, they always seem to do this. Whenever they do this, it seems to jinx it. Because, you know, after, you know, hitting, you know, they were told us, you know, it's looking bad. And then every other week, you know, even when they said it's good, they've been saying it, come back every week. So they said it's looking bad, and then they say come back in 3 weeks, which, you know, seems a bit of a long gap after, you know, you think they'd say 2 weeks first. And now she's got to go back on Tuesday again to check the pressure and to check the swelling and inflammation and the conjunctivitis hemorrhaging. So it seems to be mounting up now. I don't know what long term this is. I know they have already mentioned the amide valve to her, which she's not keen on doing. And can you blame her? She's, how many, it's the 10th month now since her sight problem, when she had the rejection, which, by the way, on Tuesday they told us completely clear now. Not that that's much good. Well, it is, but all these other complications, and obviously we're going through adoption as well, so that was planned for September. Doesn't look like we're going to make that date at the moment, because we're going to check with the social worker which is best, but it's probably not something they would be pleased to see in the panel when thinking about whether we can adopt or not. So we're going to have to put that back until we've sorted this eye out. Maybe they should have gone with the amide valve in the first place, knowing our dexamethasone record, but we need to know whether that's going to make an issue with the amide valve, which where they actually put a valve inside to control the amount. But obviously that's more painful, and it's an actual foreign object that's inside. So more complications. It looks like, unless this controls itself, because it doesn't seem to be getting better, and they're struggling with the drugs that they can give her, so it's not looking good. So please remember her in your prayers or in your thoughts. And that's it for now. Now at the end of this you'll see the film and probably the photo, because the photo is quite clear, or maybe just a photo, whichever, of my wife's eye. So if you're at all squeamish, then you can stop now, and if you want to see, here's how it looks.
Who's hurting me there?